There is a sound that has no name. It does not begin with a drum, nor end in an echo. It pulses beneath the breath of creation, behind the veil of what you call ordinary. This sound is not just heard with ears, it is felt in bones, remembered in dreams, and awakened in moments when time slows and you suddenly remember. You were always part of something ancient. You've been taught to believe sound is a vibration you can record, tune, measure. But what if sound is more than pressure waves? What if it is a carrier of memory, a sculptor of reality, a forgotten map to your truest self? Right now, you're surrounded by noises, notifications, traffic, voices saying things they don't mean. But when was the last time you heard something that rearranged your soul, that made you still, that whispered to the deepest layer of your being that you are not separate from the universe, but a note in its eternal symphony? Ancient civilizations didn't treat sound as entertainment. They treated it as a portal. The Egyptians used vowels in chants to mimic the divine resonance of the cosmos. The Vedic sages chanted Om, not because it was poetic, but because they believed it was the fundamental vibration of all things. Pythagoras didn't just study music, he used it as medicine, teaching that harmony could align the soul with the order of the heavens. And what if they were right? What if buried beneath our modern symphony of distractions lies a truth waiting to be remembered? You've felt it before, haven't you? In the wind passing through trees at dusk. In a chant in a language you don't know, but that makes your spine shiver. In the silence between notes of a song that never left you. Those moments are not accidents. They are the sound of memory rising from the deep, calling you to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. In the temples of old, initiates were taught not with words, but with vibration. In the Great Pyramids, resonance chambers amplified tones designed to recalibrate the soul. In ancient China, the guqin was said to carry the tones of heaven and earth, bringing balance to the player and the listener. These weren't just cultural quirks. They were encoded wisdom, passed through resonance, not rhetoric. We didn't lose this knowledge, we forgot how to hear it. You live in a world that praises information and drowns intuition. But intuition is the instrument that feels vibration before logic can explain it. That moment when a sound makes your eyes water? That's truth. That's alignment. That's your energy system remembering something older than language. And maybe, just maybe, the pain you carry, the anxiety that grips you, the sense of being lost, isn't because you're broken. Maybe it's because you've been surrounded by the wrong sounds for too long. You've been trying to find clarity while vibrating in confusion, trying to find peace while absorbing the chaos of a world tuned to dissonance. But what if you could change that? What if you could start tuning in, not out? What if the answers aren't outside you, but encoded in the frequencies that have always been around you, waiting to be heard? This journey begins not with a technique, but with an opening, a willingness to listen again, not to noise, but to truth. Not to external commands, but to inner cues. Sound is a bridge, and once you cross it, you realize you were never disconnected, only detuned. Now ask yourself, what if today, right now, you began to remember the original sound of your soul? If you could see sound, you would see form. You would see geometry dancing into existence. Circles birthing spirals, spirals birthing galaxies. Sound doesn't just move through space, it creates it. It carves pattern into chaos, breathes rhythm into randomness. From the spirals of your DNA to the orbit of the planets, from the rings in a tree trunk to the petals of a rose, everything reflects the invisible architecture of vibration. This is not poetic metaphor. This is cymatics, the science of visualizing sound. When certain frequencies pass through a medium like water or sand, they create precise geometric patterns. Ancient symbols we thought were mystic, they're often just frozen sound. And if sound can shape matter on a plate, imagine what it does to the water in your body, to the cells in your heart. You are 70% water, and every thought, every emotion, every environment you subject yourself to vibrates through you, restructuring you silently. The Solfeggio frequencies, some of the most well-known sacred tones, are said to resonate at specific hertz values that align the body and soul. 396 Hz for liberating guilt and fear, 528 Hz for DNA repair and transformation, 963 Hz to awaken intuition and spiritual insight, Whether you accept this as literal truth or symbolic alignment, the power is undeniable. Sound is not passive, it is participatory. It's not something you consume, it's something you become. In the ancient temples of Greece, they spoke of music not as entertainment, but as harmonia, the ordering of the soul. Plato warned that changes in musical modes would destabilize society. He wasn't being dramatic. He was recognizing that when you change the music, you change the people. Sound isn't neutral, it's influence. Every civilization that grasped this used it carefully, for healing, for awakening, for spiritual flight. Even now, the Earth hums its own frequency, the Schumann resonance, roughly 7.83 Hz. When you meditate deeply or enter theta brainwave states, your mind begins to sync with this frequency. Why? Because your body is part of this planet. Your nervous system is an antenna, built not only to perceive sound, but to attune to it. The Earth is singing. Most just forgot how to listen. Now, imagine how often you're surrounded by frequencies that are not in harmony with this natural rhythm. Screaming sirens, machinery, Wi-Fi signals, subconscious messages and commercials, sound that doesn't heal but fragments. It's not just noise pollution, it's frequency disruption. And slowly it shifts your state. You wonder why you feel scattered, agitated, or numb. But your cells are simply reacting to a symphony that isn't in tune with life. Think of this. The temples were tuned. The cathedrals echoed sacred geometry in both shape and sound. Ancient flutes and drums were crafted not for their volume, but for their resonance. And every sacred culture, from the Tibetan monks to the Aboriginal elders, held the same secret. The key to reality is frequency. To speak to the gods, you don't shout, you hum, you align. Have you ever heard a sound that made your whole body exhale? That brought tears for no reason? That lifted you, even if you didn't understand why? That's not coincidence. That's resonance. You weren't just hearing, it was as if something inside you was being tuned, brought home. This is the universal song, and your soul remembers it. The question isn't whether frequencies affect you. The question is, what frequencies are you choosing to surround yourself with? What do you listen to when no one is watching? What tone begins your morning? And what vibration carries you into sleep? You become what you resonate with. You don't need to be a scientist to feel this. You just need to listen differently, because when you change the frequencies in your field, your emotions shift, your health shifts, your perception of reality shifts, and slowly what once felt heavy begins to lift. You are not just a person living on Earth. You are a frequency in the song of the cosmos. And when you find your note, everything begins to harmonize. So ask yourself, are you in tune or just surviving the noise? You were born vibrating perfectly. Your first cries echoed with innocence, clarity, purity. Your cells, fresh and free, resonated with the rhythm of nature, the pulse of Earth, the breath of the cosmos. But then, slowly, subtly, systemically, you were detuned. It started early. The hum of fluorescent lights replaced birdsong. The jarring ring of alarms replaced the sunrise. You were taught to follow a schedule, not your soul. Conditioned to respond to commands, not intuition. The music you heard was compressed, synthetic. The words spoken to you were rushed, often empty. Little by little, you stopped vibrating with life and started vibrating with stress. And it wasn't just sound. It was energy. It was the way people walked past you with guarded hearts. The unspoken tension in classrooms. The judgment in silence. The invisible static of collective anxiety. You didn't just hear it, you absorbed it. Frequencies that were never yours became your background music. And now, your nervous system hums with foreign notes. This is how most people lose themselves. Not in one cataclysmic moment, but in a million minor distortions. And soon, they no longer recognize their own signal. They mistake anxiety for alertness, numbness for peace, noise for truth. But you're beginning to remember, aren't you? There's a quiet knowing within you that something isn't right. That your body is reacting to a world it wasn't designed for. That somewhere along the way, your soul got buried beneath static. That feeling of being out of place, of aching for something you can't name, that is your soul detecting dissonance. Modern life bombards you with frequencies that confuse your system. From the hum of appliances to the electromagnetic fog of cell towers, from angry media clips to gossip in the office, your energetic body is under siege. You're constantly tuning to other people's stations, and the longer you remain on the wrong frequency, the more you forget your own. But here's the truth. Your signal never left. It was only overshadowed. Beneath the noise, your authentic vibration is waiting for silence, waiting for stillness, waiting for you. And it's not just about what you hear, it's about what you speak. Words carry frequency. Every time you speak with fear, you lower your field. Every time you complain, judge, belittle, you're echoing dissonance. But when you speak with kindness, gratitude, intention, you recalibrate. Your voice becomes an instrument of realignment. So the real question is, what song are you singing each day? When you open your mouth, are you reinforcing distortion or inviting harmony? The good news is, you can retune. Like an instrument that's been neglected, you simply need patience, attention, and care. Start by creating spaces of intentional silence. Not the silence of avoidance, but the silence of awareness. Listen to your breath. Feel the vibration in your chest as you hum gently. Begin to replace chaotic input with curated frequency. Play solfeggio tones as you cook. Chant quietly during your morning walk. Let nature's symphony be your background. As you do this, something miraculous begins to happen. Your emotions begin to flow instead of stagnate. Your mind becomes clearer, less reactive. You sleep deeper. You laugh easier. The people around you sense something different. Not louder, not brighter, just tuned. And this isn't spiritual fluff. Your nervous system, your vagus nerve, your parasympathetic state, they all respond to vibration. Healing doesn't begin with information. It begins with resonance. And when you begin to choose your frequencies consciously, healing becomes inevitable. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are simply vibrating to a song that isn't yours. But the moment you choose to listen differently, to speak differently, to be still, you will begin to remember. You will begin to return. So ask yourself, what will you do with this knowing? Will you continue humming someone else's song? Or will you fall silent long enough to hear your own? Now that you've begun to see how you've been tuned by accident, let's talk about tuning with intention. Because frequencies are not just things you listen to, they are forces you wield. And if you learn to choose them consciously, you can shift your inner weather instantly. You can shift your state. Let's begin with sacred sound. These are not random chants, not cultural quirks. These are ancient technologies, mantras, tones, and seed syllables. Bija mantras have been used across civilizations to stimulate energy centers, harmonize the nervous system, and induce spiritual awakening. Try chanting Lam slowly, deeply, from the belly. That's the root chakra. Feel how it grounds you. Now try Om from the chest. Let it echo in the head. That's not coincidence. It vibrates where it's needed. These frequencies aren't metaphor, they're physical. They work like tuning forks, resonating with the dormant frequencies within you, activating what modern life put to sleep. In Egyptian mystery schools, vowels were seen as sacred breath, gateways to the divine. In Hinduism, each chakra has a syllable. In Tibet, monks chant over bowls that vibrate at healing frequencies. These aren't performances, they're operations, rituals of resonance, frequency medicine. You don't need to join a monastery to begin. You just need to start small. Create a daily sound ritual. Begin your mornings, not with scrolling, but with sound. Hum gently, chant a syllable, put on a frequency track, 396 Hz for releasing fear, 417 Hz for clearing negativity, 528 Hz for transformation. Let the tone seep into your bones, let it move through your breath, and then add intention, because frequency without focus is noise, but frequency with awareness, that's a spell. So as you chant, feel what you want to awaken. As you listen, visualize what you want to dissolve. Merge sound with breath, breath with thought, thought with energy. This is how ancient priestesses moved energy. This is how shamans changed weather. This is how mystics melted trauma. Don't just listen, feel. Don't just chant, mean it. Let sound be your tool of choice. Like a sword cuts through illusion, your voice can cut through emotional fog. You don't need to be a singer, you need to be sincere. Even your humming matters. It stimulates the vagus nerve. It calms your system. It awakens resonance in the chest cavity, the seat of emotion. And when paired with gratitude, sound becomes an act of devotion. Every vibration becomes an offering. Let nature teach you. The wind through trees is not random, it's music. Water over rocks is percussion. Birdsong is morning prayer. The ancients didn't build temples for gods alone, they built them for acoustics, for echo chambers that multiplied intention. And so can you. Your room can become a temple. Your voice, an oracle. Your morning ritual, a tuning ceremony. You don't need incense or robes. You need intention and vibration. Begin now. One tone, one chant, 1 minute, and feel how the fog starts to lift. Because when you choose your frequency, you choose your fate. When you align your sound, you align your soul. And when you practice day by day, tone by tone, you stop chasing healing and start becoming harmony. This is not about performance. It's about presence. No one needs to hear you, but your cells do, your bones do, your spirit does. So hum, chant, sing, whisper the syllable that soothes your wounds. Play the tone that softens your mind. Let sound be your medicine, your compass, your sacred bridge. Because the more you resonate, the more you remember. And the more you remember, the more you return. Return to what? To your nature, to your knowing, to the sound that built stars and heals hearts. Return home. What if you stopped just hearing frequencies and started becoming one? What if sound wasn't just something you practiced, but something you lived? Because that is the truth of the ancient teaching. You are not separate from vibration. You are vibration. You see, at a certain point, the seeker becomes the source. After chanting, after listening, after retuning, you begin to emit. Your field shifts. You don't just feel better, you start affecting the space around you. People walk into your presence and feel lighter. They don't know why, but your frequency tells them it's safe to breathe again. This is coherence. When your heart, your voice, your intention, your body all begin to vibrate in unified rhythm. You become a tuning fork for others. You become the healing tone, the sacred geometry, the carrier of peace. And you don't need to be a guru. You just need to be consistent. You just need to wake up and ask, what do I want to resonate today? Do I want to carry stress, or do I want to carry stillness? Do I want to mirror chaos or hum peace into the noise? You are a living instrument. Every breath is a vibration, every step is a rhythm, every thought is a signal. You are either amplifying fear or radiating calm. And that choice happens moment by moment, in the tone of your voice, in the pause between words, in the silence you offer others. When the ancients said, "Be still and know," they weren't being poetic. They were being practical. Stillness is how you feel your original vibration. Knowing comes when the mind quiets long enough to hear the song of the soul. And the song of the soul? It doesn't scream. It hums. It radiates. It aligns. To become the frequency means to embody the vibration before the result. To live as peace before peace arrives. To speak as clarity, even when things are unclear. This is the secret of manifestation. You attract not what you want, but what you are. And when you are in resonance, the universe responds in kind. So if you want to attract healing, be healing. If you want love, resonate love. If you want truth, speak it softly. Hold it gently. Sound it daily. No longer should you wait for others to create the atmosphere. You are the atmosphere. No longer should you wait for sacred spaces. You are the sacred space. Your energy is your offering. Your presence is your chant. You're not trying to escape the world. You're becoming the harmony within it. And the more you resonate, the more others remember their own tone. The more you hum truth, the more lies dissolve. The more you walk in rhythm, the more chaos rearranges. Be the vibration you once searched for in songs. Be the tone you needed when you were lost. Be the frequency that reminds others they are not broken, just detuned. And if the world ever feels overwhelming, pause, breathe, hum, return. This is your practice now. Not performance, but embodiment. Not perfection, but presence. Let your walk be a rhythm. Let your silence be golden. Let your laughter be a tuning bell. Let your love be the frequency that cracks illusions. Because in the end, the greatest sound is not one you play, but one you become. You are the song. You are the frequency. You are the remembering. You are the return. So now, with everything you've remembered, heard, and felt, what will you do with this knowing? Will you scroll past this message like any other? Or will you pause and truly listen? Not to more words, but to the subtle vibration now stirring inside you. The ancient sound that called your ancestors to ceremony. That healed warriors. That opened the hearts of mystics. That created worlds. You don't need special tools. You already are the instrument. Just one sound, made with full presence, can shift your entire field. One conscious chant. One deep hum. One breath infused with sacred intention. That's how you begin. That's how you remember. Let this not be the end of a video, but the beginning of a return to inner harmony, to energetic clarity, to becoming the frequency of the life you are here to manifest. If this resonated with you, share it, hum it forward, let others hear through you. And most of all, keep vibrating truth. We need your tone. Now breathe, close your eyes, and let your soul remember its original song.